Hey folks, OG Geo here. You can call me Geo, and we are thrilled to be bringing you a match tonight with my first time co-caster and great friend Ronan. Ronan, how are you doing tonight?
Doing really good, Gio. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be able to sit here and watch some good games with you.
It's awesome to have you here. We were just before we went live, we were talking a little bit about we talked about doing this a year ago, I think at some point.
Yeah, long time.
Life has always gotten in the way, or matches, or just it's always something. And
Yeah, seems
I've
like it.
casted with everybody else, and now your work schedule and my schedule have finally allowed us to come together. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I really am too, especially with what we've got going tonight. Some Titans in the division, so it's going to be
What
really
a
exciting games.
match! What a match, Ronan. So, okay, I wanted to cast this last night. And for
Yeah,
us, it was a practice night for one thing, and also happened to be just an early match. Just the way life works for me right now, the early matches don't work too well. Otherwise, we would have been all over this live. So, folks, this is the Baddest Dudes versus FF and the Pancakes, and I mean these are a couple of titans in Division E. Now, I hear you. I hear him, Ronan. I hear him laughing. Oh, Titans in Division E. Hey, listen, folks. Division E, we're trying too. Yeah, so we're not D or C or A. There's always somebody better.
for sure.
But I'm Ronan. I've been super impressed with some of the play I've seen in Division E. It certainly beats what you're going to
Yeah,
see just hopping into a Storm League match.
absolutely. I said it before. Yeah, we might not be pros in this division. We might not, be super amazing, but you can still have amazing games
Yeah.
when the people are matched up well because you're still looking at that back and forth battle whenever everybody's still on the same page as far as trying to get their what they're trying to do.
Still organized competitive play, right? It's still people
Exactly.
trying to reach their full potential, and that is an honorable thing and very fun to watch. And so we're really excited about this. So let's get back to the point: is that these are a couple teams in the top of Division E. Um, what is FF and the Pancakes? They're 3-0 going into this. Uh,
Fun fact: there's going to be at least one broken streak tonight because up to this point, both teams have had domination victories against every opponent they faced.
my gosh.
So
Okay. All
somebody
right.
will lose a winning streak, and if I had to guess, that may be somebody losing a domination streak as well. Because when you're putting two teams at this caliber together, I think you're going to be hard pressed to actually have a domination happen one way or the other. But we shall see.
Do we have a favorite? I mean, just when I look at the sheet, it seems like FF and the Pancakes are a favorite, and I can remember them from previous seasons. What is your thought? And have you done any little bit of scouting here? Do you have any intel on the teams?
I have, so it depends on who you ask. The baddest
Okay.
dudes have really been performing extremely well. Now, I'm not super familiar with the divisions as they have been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned before, my schedule the last probably year or so has been a little bit wonky. But from what I've heard from talking to other people, seeing other people, in Discord and even just watching other videos, I think that FF and the Pancakes probably were a favorite going into this.
I think so too. Certainly, the way they've played, it would be hard not to have them there. Um,
Yes.
so okay, and now the caveats, right? Couple of caveats here, folks. One is this is a replay cast. Again, we couldn't do it last night. Doesn't mean we should miss the action. The second is we do not pretend that we are professionals or
No.
geniuses or experts at this game. We are going to cast what we see to the best of our ability, and we're going to try and give our insight. And you may agree with it and you may not, but mainly our main goal here, Ronan, right, is to bring the people the action so they get a chance to see the
That's
matches.
right.
And it's fun to have your match cast, isn't it?
I think so.
I
I
love it.
always get super hyped whenever I see it. I always love watching it afterwards, and just seeing what they catch and what I missed even in the game because it's very easy when all the action's
Yeah.
going to miss some really cool stuff that happens. So
It's more fun when we win.
absolutely, I think everybody likes it a little bit more when they win, but
I might watch the VODs right away if I want.
yeah, and I might wait a little bit and and maybe not admit to watching it if you lose. But
So anyway, that's what we're here for. We're glad to have you all there. Tuna, good to have you. We had a couple of people who quickly followed while we're talking away, Ronan. So thanks to it's a little bit tough to read this one out, but CWL was taken. Thank you. Zixg? How would you say that, Ronan? XYXGY. I always tell you, sound it out when I hear casters trying, but my gosh.
I actually would just say XYXGY.
Okay.
Or just shorten it to
That's
XG.
a mouthful. All right. Zguy. I'm going to say Zguy. How about
Zigzy?
that? D Goodchild, thank you for this follow. So other than that, folks, just to let you know, once we get into the match, we're not doing a lot of interacting with chat, which is to say we don't do it at all because it's about the match. So right before we do that, Ronan, I think you have a little bit of insight on how we got to, this is a replay, so we can't see the draft, but Ronan did some research for us. So bring us up to speed, please, sir, before we hop in. This is a best-of-3 match. This is actually a round 10 match. It's the round 10 match. You can schedule it anytime, I guess. So
yes, that's going to be one of the 2 flexes. So they got one of those scheduled early.
Oh, that's why it says round 10. It's a flex. Got it. That makes a little more sense. Derp. Okay, so it's a flex match, and go with your big brain. Hit me with your knowledge.
Sure. So I think everybody can. Actually, I don't know if they can see the screen yet, but we are on Dragonshire, and Dragonshire was the map pick for the Baddest Dudes here.
Yeah, they cannot, but continue. They see your beautiful face.
Oh, well, that's even better then.
Yeah.
My beautiful face, your dulcet tones. I can see why you had so many people follow just now. So the Baddest Dudes actually ended up banning out Alterac Pass and Battlefield of Eternity. And then FF and the Pancakes banned out Cursed Hollow and Braxis Holdout.
So they each banned out a big macro map.
Yes.
And,
absolutely.
Well, let's see. That you said Cursed Hollow, and what was the other for the Pancakes?
So FF and the Pancakes was Cursed Hollow and Braxis Holdout.
Yeah, so they each banned out that's what I thought I caught. So they each banned out a big macro and then like a 2-lane that you think more of like a brawler or a hold the lane kind of a deal.
So it's a nice mix there. It might be something to do. It's interesting. I always like looking in to see if maybe that's because one team performs really well on a map, so they counter ban, or if those are just maps that they themselves don't feel super confident on, or maybe just feel better on other maps. And I don't know that. I don't have the insight into why they chose them, but it's interesting nonetheless that, like you said, it's not like the maps are really that similar to each other on the teams that banned them.
Yes, chat. Completely unplanned. We are wearing the same shirt.
Yeah, it actually was not planned. Yeah.
So
fun fact.
So I'm our team's captain, and Ronan is our tank and caller. So you can see we're on the same page. That's good. It's always a good place to start from.
Yeah.
So Ronan, then who picked Dragonshire? Because I run from Dragonshire. I know a lot of teams at all levels don't want to deal with Dragonshire. Who served up this madness?
That was the Baddest Dudes. They had no fear going into the Dragonshire. They were ready to bring the fiery doom, apparently.
Listen, major props to any team in my book who picks Dragonshire. It is a tough map. I can tell you this about the Baddest Dudes. They have a manager. They are an organized team. Like, they are split up where their captain runs like practices and reviews and stuff, and they have a manager who organizes their matches. This is like an organization. They are no joke.
Yeah, you can tell they take it seriously, which always, I'm sure that's why they've been undefeated up to this point. Whenever you put that much dedication into something, it really shows in your play.
And I casted them versus the Core Bouncers, and they beat the Core Bouncers 2-1. And for whatever it's worth, the Core Bouncers beat us 2-0. So listen, on paper, it looks like a good matchup. What do you think if we stop talking about it on paper and get into the dang match? What do you say?
I like it.
All right,
yeah,
let's do it.
Good.
All right, my friend. Dragonshire, game 1 of a best-of-3 on the left side, representing your team, the Baddest Dudes. We have Demon Grand on Raynor, Savior 123 on Jaina, Durlock on Rexar, Ghost of AJ on ETC, and Mad Khazar on Stukov. Tell me, Ronan, who have we got on the right side?
So on the right side for FF and the Pancakes, we have Jaeger on Joanna, Stampy on Zool, Courtney on Kira, Mr. G on Kael'thas, and Zigzy, as you said, or as I would say,
Ooh,
XY,
I like that.
on Anduin.
I like that. For heretofore referred to as Anduin.
As Anduin, yes.
So the good luck, have fun's come on, and folks, Ronan already added value before we even got into the match because he said, "Oh, you use Control Z," and I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Oh, because Shift Z gives you a farther out field of view." I was like, "So if you feel like you have a little more breathing room, folks, and you're seeing a little more of the match, that's why." Here is where we enter the I don't know how to say it cleanly. The screw around phase of the game.
Clown Fiesta.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Clown Fiesta. And immediately we see both teams pretty disciplined, focusing on the soak over the dinking around and fighting with each other, and that shows good discipline and often means that we're in for a good match.
I agree. It's very rare to see that level of discipline on both sides. You know, a lot of people like to blow their abilities, see if they can get a cheeky kill, put some damage on the team. And usually you just end up blowing mana and taking more damage than you should have yourself. So it's nice to see.
And they, you know, there is a time and a place. You'll see division, well, it used to be Div S. You see high division teams that will get into a little bit of a brawl. It's not that it can't happen, but generally speaking, what you want to do, you want to come out of the gate and get right to work doing what you want to do. And both of these teams are. Look at them like clockwork, Ronan, hitting up both the camps.
They have, yes. Now, one thing you'll notice, it's a little bit different, of course. So blue team here, they're actually keeping 2 of their people off the queue so that they can keep soaking. So the camp on the right, you would think would have gotten done a little bit quicker, but, you know, these guys know what they're doing because it was barely noticeable when you got to it first and got it done first.
Yeah, it had to just be who they had on it, I suppose.
Right.
I guess just Raynor has a little bit of a better burst getting that camp done.
Yeah, no, it seemed to really work well. They knew what they were doing. They didn't need the third person.
Rex are a very, very popular pick on this map, and so if Baddest Dudez is confident in their Rexar, that might be a reason why they go with a map like this. Because with the Rexar, you can hold the point while still soaking the lane, and that can end up giving you lead over time. However, we do see the bear pays for Rexar sins there and falls.
Yes.
Not
Poor
quite
Misha.
a first blood, but definitely inhumane treatment of a poor innocent bear.
It is, but you know, an interesting fact, you've got FF and the Pancakes actually pushing top rather than bottom. It's a lot more common to see the 4-man pushing bot instead, but maybe they're just reacting to the fact that there is a Rexar in the game, and now their offlaner doesn't have to deal with him solo.
Well, so one thing I was going to say, so Misha falls again. I was going to say they took the fountain down. That's a great strategy because it really puts your offlaner in a bad position for the rest of the game. But then I think what they said, Ronan, is, okay, no one wants to address this. We're not taking any pressure bot, so why should we leave? This is a free fourth, right? And that's exactly what happened. I think if the Baddest Dudez had reacted either mid or bot, either defended top or pressured another fort, that would have made the Pancakes have to, you know, make a decision. But as it was, they had no choice to make there. They could just easily take the fort and not pay anything for it.
Exactly. You know, it's possible that maybe they thought that since Baddest Dudez were still soaking every lane, that XP advantage would help them out. But the structured lead that FF and the Pancakes just took actually has kept the experience pretty even. So I think they're in a very good position being at that structured advantage.
Absolutely. No kills yet. We've seen Misha fall twice, but otherwise, no first blood yet. 7 is achieved by the blue team slightly ahead of the Pancakes, but like you said, they're right after. I'll tell you, Kira is very difficult on this map particular in the offlane, and I don't know what it is. This map, Braxis, she never felt like an offlaner to me, but she can be absolutely punishing in a one-on-one.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Kira is one of those that you don't see a lot of, and I think that's because she has a fairly high skill cap. But, you know, from what I've seen, they actually have ran her a couple times with some pretty good success.
I mean, she's Yeah. She has a very deceptive amount of sustain that gives her a bruisery quality, even though the health pool isn't there. And meanwhile, look at the push by the Pancakes. They drive back. Rainer and Stukov have to tap. ETC taps. And the channel is up for the Pancakes, but the blue team should be able to take this back. They've got a 3v2 matchup bottom, so they want to be winning that. Rexar did have to back there. He did have to back there, Ronan. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I was just agreeing with you. And, holding bottom, whenever you're in a position where you don't want to give up the dragon, just pushing bot is a good way. If you can outpush them there, at least you can hold that until they react to it. And as you can see, now they're bringing that fourth person down so they can take it back, and Baddest Dudez have to back
rotation. Off. Yeah, very clean rotation. They just sort of like smooth like butter. Now it's a 3v2. They notice the numbers difference. Meanwhile, Rainer did get that siege camp, so that's going to be pushing bottom for the blue team. And they're up defending. They did lose the point. They didn't retake the bottom point, so they're defending the dragon shrine to make sure that the dragon isn't capped, but that's going to cost them Jaina, almost cost them Rainer. However, ETC at least gets the cap back bottom while that fight's going on. Rainer's
That's good,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's good that happened. Jaina barely stopped Joanna from being able to channel right before that engagement started. So while everybody was distracted, FF and the Pancakes went up to try to capture that, and that let them take the bot shrine again.
Deaths aren't incredibly... It's not the end of the world at this phase in the game. However, you do see now that the Pancakes have a half-level lead, and there goes Rexar. I didn't even see that, but you know what? Johanna snuck up there and helped out. And now it's almost a full-level lead by the Pancakes. They were first to 10, so they went from that slight XP deficit to now being ahead. Oh, that living bomb spread could be a problem. Rainer lives, but the dragon does go to the Pancakes. So the first Dragon Knight, you don't get a ton with, I think, Ronan.
Usually you don't, but a lot of it depends on the actual defense. They've already got a front wall with it, and I don't know if they're going to stay here. Unpopular choice is once you get that front wall, just go get another front wall. Just keep getting that XP advantage from structures.
It looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Notice they're clearing the waves so that they get their wave coming in with them to reduce the damage. Now, it's my understanding that turrets are going to attack the Dragon Knight even with minions there, but they help your team, right? And you get the damage on the wall.
Yes, exactly.
Lot of damage that hit Zool, and he turned it right back around. It's almost like he reflected it right back onto the blue team. He hit that Poison Nova, and wow, Stukov and Jaina both fall.
Yes, no, Poison Nova can be really disgusting, especially when you also have the bleeds from Kira, when you have, the bombs from
It's a good
Kielfast.
slide by ETC, sorry.
No, not at all. The action always takes precedence.
Yeah, I thought Zool was going to fall there. I actually really thought he's going to drop there, and he somehow stayed alive. I don't know if you caught what led to that. There had to be some great healing in there. Anduin did something. And
yeah, I would say Anduin led to that.
And gives him an opportunity to drop the Poison Nova, and the squishies for Baddest Dudez just absolutely melt there.
Yeah, it looked like a really good counter engage. You saw the ring go out from Jaina, so they were going in looking for a kill there, which brought everybody right in range for the spreads from the bomb and that Poison Nova, which clearly made him pay for that.
That's a big invade, and they smell it coming. Blue team, very good reaction. You don't need this fight. You're down a talent tier. You really wanted to just take... You were out. You wanted to run there. And it looks like you have a chance, but that talent tier advantage is huge. So if you're the blue team, they did a great job of initially getting out of there right on time. Just stay out. You don't need to go back in. It's a couple of siege giants. Look how long it takes, Ronan, for Rainer to burn that down. Just let him have it. Don't fight over that.
Yep. Absolutely. And, a lot of it can be something, it's kind of an ego thing. I know I feel that way when I see a team taking what I think is my camp. You don't want them to take your camp. That's your camp. That's your backyard.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to let them take your backyard, and you just take it back as soon as you get the chance.
Yeah, and when we say, to be clear to anyone watching this, when we say ego, we're just talking about that sort of inherent thing you have, where it's hard to walk away from a fight. It's hard to give up territory. It's a difficult thing to let another team keep having something, especially when you're behind. But if you watch the most disciplined teams, that's exactly what they do. And they'll wait and wait and wait forever. That is a great initiate into ETC. They dropped everything on him. I believe the Blessed Shield came out there, followed by the Bone Prison, and the damage was right on point.
Absolutely. The Kira booped him back when all that ended. That was a beautiful chain.
And the Dragon again to the Pancakes. And they're going right after that well. If you can't get the fort, at least get the well, right?
Absolutely.
And I think they'll get the fort too.
There's a good chance now that everybody's rotating back up from bot. And even if they don't get it right away, they've got a couple waves pushing into the bot wall as well to get it primed for them to rotate down as soon as they take that. And there they go.
That's exactly what they do, Ronan. Exactly what they do. Right like clockwork.
And you can see, oh man, that flame strike spreading the bomb. And then
Pyroblast.
The pyro.
Is that going to get Stukov?
It does.
Just barely.
That's a lot of damage.
I thought he might live through that. Kira going in again, and you get a great stun there. Jaina is able to survive and run. There comes the Poison Nova. It's going to get Misha. Everybody else is going to survive that. And Pancakes can just continue to poke here Ronan and look for, they got a 5v3. That's going to be tough for ETC. I don't think he lives. He did.
Well, he did for a second there, but that Kira, again, the boot back, it's hard to get away from that. There's a lot of CC with the gravity lapse, the Kira boop, the stuns, the slows from Joanna, the Bone Prison, and the root from Anduin. It's a lot to try to get out of something like that.
And I see what he's trying to do there. Again, he doesn't want to see his keep fall, right? You're 11 minutes in, and you don't. But that was probably not a high percentage play there. It's going to be tough to live out of that. Now, he almost did, but the other team has a lot of CC. And so maybe on that one, you just have to accept that you're going to lose your keep. Uh-oh. Again with the siege camp. Look out, guys.
Yeah, it looks like they might be okay here.
Yep. And I like this. Okay, this is what we're talking about. They mostly have walked away. Now they're a little bit caught out here. They managed to break Raynor out of there. Oh, he falls. It's too bad. Misha on the run, but will fall again. Misha, you gave your life for us. There's a pretty decent retreat that could have gotten a lot worse for them, Ronan.
Absolutely. They almost got out maybe a little bit sooner on the turn of the 3-man that was a little bit further out, would have got Raynor out, but it's hard to say because that amazing ult from Kira just reached out and touched somebody.
And now the Pancakes run around, take all the camps, firmly in control. They have all the structures down, save 2 keeps. They have all of their structures up, and they have a 3-level lead. They really, if they're being super disciplined, once the blue team gets 16, they want to hold off on fighting until the Pancakes get 20, right? The Pancakes want to hold off on fighting until they hit 20. Because the blue team's about to get 16, so if you don't want to take any chances, just wait until you have your next talent to your advantage.
Exactly, and the map pressure they're putting up right now is going to make it difficult for the Baddest Dudes to get out of their base and really contest the shrines. And when you're looking at this late in the game, a Dragon Knight with an open bot lane could spell the end for the core pretty easily.
Look at the map pressure the Pancakes have on. Look at the map pressure. So, you can walk away from any fight you want to. It's not that you won't win it. It's that you have less to gain than the enemy does, right? You want to fight when you have more to gain than the enemy, or at least as much. Zool getting awfully deep there, and he's looking for the ETC with the Bone Prison. Again, I don't think they want this fight yet, but maybe they don't care what I think.
I think that you're right, that they weren't necessarily looking for that so much as, again, pushing them back. The more of the map they own right now, the better for them. And they're almost 20.
So, now, if we're the blue team, we do want to go in on this. We like this. We know somebody's top. We have a 5v4 if you can just catch somebody, and they can't. And that's a darn shame. if you are the baddest dudes. You needed some kind of lockdown there. I don't know if ETC does not have the stage dive yet. If he could have had the stage dive up there, Ronan, then you get a 5v4 you're looking for on the same talent tier when someone's up for the red team cap and top. I'm not sure about this split by the blue team. I think it's really dangerous to split up. I know why they're trying to cap one over.
Yes, then the ETC had just used the stage dive to actually go top to stop them from getting that dragon.
Oh,
which is why it was down. So they were trying to do a repeat by sending the split, but just wasn't quite quick enough. And now we've got a very dangerous dragon with a level 20 team to back it up, pushing in an open bot lane.
So you have 12 kills to none for the Pancakes and a 15-minute dragon. By no means indestructible. The blue team can defend here, and right now they are defending here. I believe I heard Misha go down. The dragon is gone, but the core is taking damage very quickly. Jaina is going to fall. Brone Prison, followed by the Poison Nova. ETC does manage to take out the Kira there. He's doing work. The cow is turning into a full-fledged bull and giving people the horns. Johanna has to back out. She's taking some tower hits there, and the blue team is focusing all their damage on the Zool, and they should be able to get a kill there. They cannot. Joe still taking heavy damage. She may fall, but the core is down to under 10%. Throw your bodies at the core, the Pancakes say. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is game. The GGs come out. Good game. Well played to both teams.
Absolutely.
And congratulations to the Pancakes. Pancakes with a really decisive victory there, Ronan. 12-13. I think the blue team got a kill at the end there. Let's take a quick look. They got a kill on Kira at that last fight in the core, Ronan. And otherwise, it was 13 kills for the red team.
That was very impressive play. I have to say, though, despite the odds, that final defense was really fantastic for the baddest dudes. Being able to hold them off, get the kill, and they did a really good job of burning that dragon down. It barely touched the core before the team popped out of it.
There's no lack of fight in them.
Absolutely.
The Zool siege damage, incredible. Zool had 145,000 siege damage to the next best was Rexar at 100,000. Kira's hero damage was about 50% higher than Rainer's. Anduin and Stukov. Anduin had about 10,000 more healing than Stukov. The XP edge fairly even, so Rexar managed to soak pretty even with Zool. But all in all, a very convincing win. But like you said, Ronan, let me see your pretty face. As you said, there was no quit in the baddest dudes. There was no end of fight in them, and that was one game in a best of 3 series. In fact, let me update that, shall I?
Yes, update that score.
Update that score. Scorekeeper, update that score. Let's take a quick look at the chat. Madkazar, if I'm saying it correctly, I hope I am. I'm saying it like Balthazar, Madkazar, Madkazer. You could try to phonetically
Kazer like laser.
Put it out there for me. I kind of like Madkazar. It reminds me of like, Balthazar. I don't. At any rate, is our pleasure to cast. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
And that's frustrating. He says his silences were not falling where he wanted them to during the game, and that's everybody has those nights, and they're never any fun. So talk to me, Ronan. You have some thoughts on the next game. Tell me a little bit about how it looks like we're going to is this Towers?
Yes, we are looking at a
Towers. I used to hate Towers, and now I love it, my friend. Tell me how we got here.
So, the baddest dudes did choose first pick on this map. So, the map choice actually went to FF and the Pancakes.
Okay. I'm going to say anecdotally, I think most teams are opting for map pick now, don't you?
I thought that was the case.
Okay.
But from the replays I've been looking at, the matches I've been watching, it doesn't seem straight across the board. And even the win rates aren't necessarily even either. I think a lot of it
No
has to
kidding.
do with the team itself. You know, some
Got
teams
it.
just really have a linchpin hero that if they get it, it works. And then other teams, you know, they don't care what map they're on because they're going to do the same thing no matter what they are. They're ones that are just a little bit more comfortable with each other. Maybe they've played a little bit longer, just have a better overall grasp of what they need to do on each of those maps. So they're willing to go on any battlefield.
So the same old answer depends.
Yeah, you know, it does. It's funny. You take a game with this many maps, with this many, you know, iterations of
Mm.
hero choices, and yeah, everything is relevant or relative rather.
Excellent. And so, what about the hero choices? Do you have any thoughts on the bans that you saw come out?
I do, yes. So
Okay.
you do see that FF and the Pancakes banned the Anduin this time. So you know,
Okay.
they had
All right.
good success with it in game one. So maybe they had a different plan going into it. They banned out the Stitches, which isn't common. I can only imagine that
Ah.
might be a target ban
The
against the Baddest
Pancakes
Dudez.
banned out Stitches.
They did, yes.
So is that a spicy pick for the Baddest Dudes then?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe it is. You know, maybe they did some scouting, saw something that they didn't want to have to deal with. I've been there for sure. And
Cho'Gall. Cho'Gall.
speaking of, Baddest Dudes did ban out Gaul. So, you
Uh-oh.
know, they probably have
Uh-oh.
seen FF and the Pancakes. They've had some pretty interesting drafts in some of their games, to say the least. And there has been a Cho'Gall in one of them, and I'm not surprised that that got banned out on this one. And of course, the
Wow.
Zool was taken away, and Diva.
We don't want to see that again. And Diva.
No thanks.
And Diva. Diva seeing okay. People either if someone has learned to play Diva, you have to ban her out right now. You just do.
Yes,
You
she's
just
very, very strong.
do. Now, if I'm playing her, opponents, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't have to worry about banning it out from Geo, but
what do you think then? Should we get on into the match and take a look here?
Yeah. I'm excited.
Fantastic.
I'm looking to see what kind of response we have to the dominant presence that we had from FF and the Pancakes and how Baddest Dudes are going to react.
Yeah, I know they're going to come out fighting. So again, this is game 2 in a best of 3. FF and the Pancakes took game 1, and now we're going to Towers of Doom. Map was picked by FF and the Pancakes, and first pick went to the Baddest Dudes. So on the left side, representing the Baddest Dudes, we have Demon Grand on Kalthas, Savior on Raynor, Durlock on Yrel, Ghost of AJ on Johanna, and Mad Khazar on Malfurion. Tell me, Ronan, who have we got on the right side?
On the right side for your FF and the Pancakes, we have Jaeger on Leoric, Mr. G on Tassadar, Courtney on Kira again, Stampy on Maiev, and Ziggsy on Whitemane. Did you notice something about what I just said there, Geo?
Ziggsy.
No.
On Whitemane.
They don't have a tank.
They don't have a tank.
They ran Leoric, Kira, Maiev, triple front line, but none of them actually a tank. And some
And
of that
Whitemane.
spicy off meta picks that you might not expect to see.
And I'm breaking my own rule right now to say thank you. I'll do this because it's a replay. Mad Khazar, thank you very much. 5 gifted subs. I 100%
Here.
do not deserve that, and I 1000% appreciate it. That's really nice. Really very nice of you. And I'm sure all the people that got the gifted subs appreciate it. You will not hear the alerts because I have them off during matches when I'm casting. But know that we appreciate it very much. Thank you. And so, Ronan,
Yes.
with that being said, without further ado, let's get on into the game, shall we? I should have hit the play button while I was doing all that chit-chatting.
It's easy to get excited and lose track of that.
Well, look, these are great drafts. These are great drafts here. I mean, I absolutely love these lineups. I cannot wait to see this match.
Oh, yes. It's really exciting to see. You know, you've got a very standard style of a composition coming in for the Baddest Dudes. Some very strong
solid.
heroes that can be difficult to play against. And then you've got the wild card coming in from FF and the Pancakes. It's interesting to see how they're going to, take that over.
My gosh. Yeah, I mean, you have the Condemn from Joe, right? Sort of groups them up, and you get that root coming down from Malfurion behind it. Then you're dumping the damage on it, while meanwhile, hopefully Urel's in the back line running disruption. And frankly, I'm not smart enough to tell you how this stuff's going to look from FF and the Pancakes. I just know that lineup would terrify me. And this time, right out of the gate, Ronan,
and
both teams getting right after it.
Damage. Oh, man. Coming out. And they had to back off there. You run into that when your front line is a little bit squishier than what some people might be used to.
And that's what the baddest dudes are going to be counting on. They need to actually be the baddest dudes. They need to be able to bully around. And by the way, Leo, not the tankiest of bruisers either.
No.
I mean, he's no pushover. There are bruisers with smaller health pools and less armor. But, yeah, it's not like you went with an Imperious, right, to round it out, or that you went with a tank in the off lane. Nope. Pancakes are full-on going for it.
Yeah, they are full-on brawling, getting in your face. You know, even with the White Mage, she's a fairly high damage healer. So they're looking at overloading the damage healing ability of the Malfurion, I think, here, which is one of his weaknesses. If you can do a lot of burst, that's not something he's super great at healing against.
Okay. Once again, both teams very disciplined, getting right away to their pumpkin camps. I refuse to call them sapper camps. They are clearly pumpkins. So you see the pumpkins battling in the middle of bottom lane. Roden, tell the viewers about the bottom lane on this map and the importance of it.
You know, the bottom lane is great because there are only 3 ways to actually take points off of your enemy's core. 1, you pick up the shrines as they spawn around the map. 2, you take the boss. Or 3, you actually escort your pumpkin camps into the no man's land right outside of your enemy's base.
Okay, right. Past that red or blue line, respectively. Got it.
Right, where all of the bombs and towers shoot you to death if you get close to it.
There's that route from Malfurion, but the blue team taking a lot of damage to get there.
Yes, that damage is what they're going to be running into every time they go up against this. You know, the standard comp has always been tank, bruiser, 2 DPS, and a healer, but there's a reason that sometimes going multiple DPS can really throw a monkey wrench in that.
So on this map, you have no keeps. You're only getting damage to the enemy team's core by either this altar phase, which is coming up right now, or that boss, or those pumpkin camps. And that makes that bottom lane very important because there are 2 sets of pumpkin camps. So if you take control by capturing your enemies for it, then you can escort in the pumpkin camps twice as much as you could in, say, the top lane. Now we're going to fight both teams. Well, there's 3v4 down here at this bottom altar. So the baddest dudes sent 2 up top. I don't know if they thought they saw an invade coming. I didn't see that, to be honest. But now they've already rotated down, and we have a full-on 5v5 brawl going on over this altar near the bottom, between the bottom and the mid lane.
You know, and that's kind of a safe thing to do. When you have a Joanna, when you have a Malfurion, when you throw out a root, you know, you can kind of sit back and stall, make sure that you get your top one quick, and that way you've got the 5-man down bot. So I think overall it was a strategy that worked well for them. Excellent point.
Especially when it's a Leo up there and he can get a little cheeky with the Wraith Walk. You just play it safe. Joe is taking quite a bit of poke and has to back out. Urel also taking quite a bit. It's interesting that the tankier team is still having their bars looking awfully low right now, although Kira does have to tap as well. KT's coming back, but he's getting caught. The spooky hand misses from ETC, and KT makes a hero interrupt there, but I think the blue team after that is just going to go ahead and give this altar run.
You know, I think that was the best decision. We talked last game about some discipline, and sometimes just needed to say, you know what? This isn't worth it. If we win it, that's great. But if we lose, we could actually lose a lot more. And I think that was an excellent call to back off, reset, get your health back, and take those camps again.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I love it. I mean, in almost every game you will ever see, one of the teams comes away losing 4 shots from the first altar phase, right? And one of them comes away losing 8 shots. And it ain't a thing. It's not a big deal. This is a comeback map, by the way, folks. If we didn't mention it earlier, this is a comeback map. Johanna popping the unstoppable there so she doesn't get dragged around by Maiev, so that was quick thinking. Also, now we have the medallions in play, which are not shown on the screen, but they are out there, and we'll try and call them out when we see them. So that's another counter to the Maiev pull when they need it. About almost a full level XP lead, Ronan, right now for the Pancakes. That's got to be Leo.
He's about 1,400, 1,500 XP up on Yrel right now. So he's getting that double soak in and making sure that those are quick rotations.
Yeah, and folks, that's just Yrel. That's not the Yrel player. I don't think,
Absolutely.
Ronan. If a Leo versus Yrel, he's always going to out-soak her.
Yes, and that's what you get, whenever you're picking your off lane. This map in general, usually you'll see folks doing the off lane battle. And, it's a matter of who you're comfortable on, who you can double soak with, and who is banned out. Overall, both are still doing a very good job. There's not a lot of XP.
It's a good condemn there from Joe, and they got some damage into white main. I like it. They just couldn't quite finish, and now once again, Joe having to back out a little bit there. She did pop the unstoppable, so she wants to get out of there, and the body blocks. The body blocks get the Malfurion kill. However, there is a dive by Yrel for the counter kill against Whitemane. That was fantastic. And now she's on the hunt. She wants it. And Maiev is Maiev gonna live? She had under 50 XP. Leo walks away with nothing. My gosh, Ronan. Yrel came in there, saved the day, got the counter kill, got Joe out of there after the body block that took out Malfurion. What a play.
Absolutely. And, that's exactly the trade-off that you make when you take somebody like Yrel over a Leo. Yrel is just constantly a thorn in your side, playing pinball with your squishies while you're trying to fight a battle up front.
You're right. I mean, that is, again, we just talked about she's giving up some soak, but that's what she gives you for it, right? So, yeah,
exactly.
She's not going to soak with Leo, but wow, what a great instinct from that player. That's a Durlock going in there. Well done. Meanwhile, the Pancakes are saying, yeah, but we still have a full level lead, although the blue team is getting 10 now. Both teams, again, right like clockwork, Ronan, on the pumpkin camps. Like clockwork, very aggressive invade coming out. 10 did just hit for the blue team, so this is some big brass ones. And Maiev might pay, but no, the damage is there. They chase out the DPS, the back line. Oh boy, the back line of the Baddest Dudez just had to run away before they could finish doing the job, and KT gets body blocked as well, and he falls. And
the actual result of that fight in particular does not do justice to how close that fight was. No deaths from FF and 2 from Baddest Dudez. That was close. That could have very easily swung the other way.
It's just they managed to put enough damage down to drive back the backline out of range to finish. And that's a very tough thing, because again, that's the discipline we're talking about. Is you don't want to stay until you die in a fight, right? You don't want to do that. In that fight, maybe they did. I don't know. When it's happening in real time, I don't cast a whole lot of judgment. The Entomb misses there, but it zones. I don't know if it missed or if he wanted that as a zone. I honestly don't know. I think
that might have been intended as a zoning tool, because without Yrel coming in, they would have got that channel off. So that could have been.
And he might have said, if I catch somebody, great, but it's more important that I block him off, right? So he might have missed a target, but he was more concerned about putting it. Oh my gosh, Kira. That's what we're talking about with Kira. Look at her go. Can they get the counter kill? Yes, they take that Whitemane out. Fantastic. Raynor in trouble. Maiev pressuring him, but the condemn comes in from Joe, and I think Maev's going to fall. And the Baddest Dudez are fighting back, though. Joe is running away, fighting for her life, and Leo comes in and does what Leo does. Mace to the face, and oh no, it's turning. Joe falls, and now Yrel falls. My gosh, Ronan, I can neither think nor talk that quickly. Is that going to take out Tassadar? Is the Pyro going to take him out?
And
well
it does.
Done. Well done, KT. You needed that. Well done. Look out, though. Here comes Kira. Oh, KT. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That was an impressive fight. I mean, It was so back and forth until the very end, but you can really see that just sustained constant damage from the multiple high damage heroes coming in from FF and the Pancakes is just something that's difficult to deal with and seems to be just barely edging out in these very close fights.
And you know, I don't know if it happened during that fight, but again, the Pancakes had a talent tier lead. I think they got it during that fight. I honestly couldn't tell. There was so much going on. I really couldn't tell for sure, but they have a talent tier lead that just disappeared. That's good. So, listen, the Baddest Dudes keeping up with them. They're within a level of XP. There was a huge wave pushing top, but it got cleared. And the Pancakes are going to work trying to take control, Ronan, of this bottom lane, and they want it. Leo's in there with the Entomb, but it's too far forward for his damage dealers, and the blue team just blows right through and goes for the white main, but she lives this time, and Raynor falls instead. He's a little too deep, and I think the healer was zoned out, Ronan, and now
that's exactly what happened.
Could be trouble with the Maiev, whatever it's called, circle of crap that you don't want to be in. You probably know the name.
Warden's Cage, I believe.
All right, that sounds good.
You know, you say when the Leo popped in there, you're right. His damage wasn't in range to kill the Malfurion, but what that did was it let all of the damage from FF and the Pancakes just unload on the rest of Baddest Dudes without their healer being able to actually prevent any of it.
No healing. And now the Baddest Dudes are under some real pressure. Now they're in real trouble. Raynor made a smart play here to try and get one. He wants to get one altar, but now they'll have to back off. That might cost Raynor his life. I think it will. With the pull, I think he's done. Oh, he puts out a great Hyperion.
Very good defense.
Yrel, can she do it? She gets... No, she does not get the Leo.
Oh, that was so
close. Oh, my gosh. But they do get the Kira. They're on the hunt. Maiev could fall again here. Somehow, again, gets away. I think the focus damage is just not there. Joe falls. Yrel still on the chase, trying to get the white main, trying to get the Maiev. Very deep. Does get the white main. My gosh, the wall comes out. And 3 of the blue team trapped on the other side of it. Tassadar just gives us a KT, a shotgun to the face, and now Malfurion and Yrel are both gonna fall here, aren't they? Yrel manages to sort of space ghost away, or does she?
It's hard to say, you know, when you've got that much chasing you, it's rough. But man, that Yrel was playing their heart out. Well done, Durlock. That damage was going out. Oh. The disruption, that was, again, so close. But the healing from white main. Oh, man. Be still my heart, Ziggsy. You are killing it.
She's on it. I mean, there's only one explanation for those how are they not dying, folks, and that's your healer, right? So if you just go back and tell your friends, well, I was amazing last night, I couldn't die. Don't tell your friends you couldn't die. Tell them your healer was amazing.
Yeah, my healer wouldn't let me die. As my healer always tells me, nobody kills you unless I say so.
Oh, boy. You know, I mean, listen, the Pancakes are playing. I mean, so we're talking about it kind of from an underdog perspective, I realize, right? The blue team's fighting back. And so that's interesting. But let's talk about the Pancakes for a second and them walking this razor's edge and managing to win these fights. Again, Leo gets away with nothing. Again, they turn this fight around from a great initial engage by the Baddest Dudes, and somehow the Baddest Dudes can't just finish, although here it looks like, Joe, can you get that Tassadar? Yrel again pounding the back line, but she's going to be left and fall, and I understand why, but it must have broken her heart a little bit.
You know, it actually broke my heart a little bit, too, because it was so close, and especially as many times as it has happened. Just so many almost kills, and that can really start to wear on you to the point where you want that kill and you don't care what you have to give up to get it.
Yeah. And she is a space goat. I mean, she speaks a different language.
Space goats have horns for a reason.
But I was saying, so let's not lose sight of the fact that the Pancakes are just they're making this happen. It's not accidental. They're making incredible plays here. Incredible. Look at the Kira. They're turning these fights. They're making the right heal on the right person at the right time. They're spreading out, which is not allowing. Oh boy! And again they walk away.
Engage.
And again they walk away. The Pancakes are spreading out. Sorry, go ahead.
They are. Oh, I was just going to say, to be clear, I don't think that this is so much that Baddest Dudes are making mistakes. This really is some phenomenal play, some phenomenal positioning, and knowing what their targets are coming in for the Pancakes, which is leading to them getting the kills and still getting away with their lives.
From what we're seeing, can you believe that they don't have a tank? Look at the Entomb there. He entombed and then kind of just walked away from it. Amazing. And the blue team turns it around almost immediately.
And that is the kind of fight they've been looking for. That has to feel great after almost killing so many people to finally get almost a full team wipe.
And Channels and Takes Tacit are out, so that is a 4-man team wipe, Bronin. And look at the close on the experience gap. Look at
that did it right there.
Brought them right back. This is a comeback map, my friend. And they are only down by 6.
Yeah, and 6 on this map, once you start taking some forts, that doesn't mean an awful lot.
And look, you want the bottom fort, but they had the mid fort push, so they took it. And that's the right play, right?
Praise for me.
Maiev, incredibly,
very spicy.
Incredibly brave play, but goes and gets the sapper camps.
They had vision on the enemy team. She knew where they were. She knew what she could get away with and knew how long it took her to get that camp. And she capitalized.
And that's more about not letting the enemy have them. They're going to get some damage, but it's still more about not letting the enemy have them. And now your friends are back. And you're back in business. The rest of the Pancakes have arrived. And Maiev already got the syrup warmed up for him.
It's looking like Baddest Dudes is going to actually hit 21st here. They're very close.
Yep.
And that is a scary 5v4.
I don't love to see them fight too much. I know they want the fort. Don't fight under it. Don't fight under it.
Well, oh, boy. A hair's breadth from 20. Falling back, getting another camp or another wave, and then pushing in with a 20 advantage.
Sorry, they
I don't blame
Leo. Leo went the AA build, by the way, the auto attack build. He did not go with the Wraith Walk. He's having none of that. He's mace to the face build.
And that's kind of par for the course with the rest of their build. They went focus on as much damage as they could fit with the people they were bringing. So it makes a lot of sense.
There is the Buried Alive, and that really was a problem. Joe will most likely fall here after her 20 expires. And Urel is using Ardent Defender, but she's still in trouble. The Kira's going to pursue, and she's going to be awfully hard to stop. KT is in a difficult position, but he's trying to get that Whitemane. That was a precarious position. Took Whitemane down to under 100 health. Raynor trying to poke on that. That was a good disengage by the blue team. I thought they were going to lose 2 more.
That was a very good disengage. They're showing some discipline there, which is nice to see. And the 2 for 2 is not something to scoff at this stage of the game.
But the first channel... Oh, no, Raynor fell.
And again, that ulti from Kira.
First channel went to the Pancakes, and if they get this one, you are really up against it. Now, thank goodness they're only counting for 3 now, because blue team took that mid fort.
Yes,
I'm surprised.
Which is very important. No.
I'm surprised Ronan the Pancakes didn't take the mid fort back first, to be honest with you. They're very confident team in their play style. I'm surprised they didn't take the fort back first.
That's a decision you have to make, because you saw Leo was going to do just that when Baddest Dudes 5-man pushed bot fort. Do you want to trade 1 for 1, or do you want to defend what you have and then take it back and hope for the kill under the fort? It's a decision that was made. Whether it was the right one or the wrong one, it seemed to have worked out.
Well, look, they lost 1 shot by not doing that. They're still in fine shape. Both teams at 20 now, so the levels don't matter as much. Oh, that's a great Blessed Shield from Joe.
Yes, and it is.
How are they not dead yet? How is that Maiev alive? Ronan?
And again, you're looking at the healing from the Whitemane. Whitemane throwing out all the damage and all the heals coming into that. And it is disgusting.
Trying to get back there in time and just can't. It's just too much at this point with 20 left. Yrel falls. And who was that? Malfurion? Who someone fell shortly after, KT or Malfurion? I think it was KT.
Yeah, they all look the same when they're laying on the floor.
Yeah.
And that was a very dirty fight. Raynor's still alive. He had been pushing up into mid when that fight broke out. So now he's here to try to stop these pumpkins from pushing in, but he's got to be very careful about getting caught out here.
Yeah, especially with the buried alive. As Leo has it up in 10 seconds, so he'll look to use that on cooldown because it is buried alive.
But I do not believe that there's any way that they can stop these two shrines from going in and securing them.
Yeah, and now they've taken the bottom, so that's game. The GG's come out.
What a game it is.
My gosh. My gosh, Ron. Wow, what a game.
Was a game and a half. I'm sorry, you can't look at that and say that is not something that's exciting to watch. Might be divvy, but by God, was that entertaining.
Absolutely fantastic. Both teams played their stinking guts out. Let's take a look at the numbers for a second here. The siege damage, I mean, basically even within a margin of error for Yrel and Leoric. The XP caught up on Yrel. She came within about 2,000 of Leo, so she got pretty close there. The hero damage, KT leads all heroes with 90,000 to Kira's 71. And we knew they did a lot of damage. Whitemane with 80,000 healing to Malfurion's 65,000. Which, again, let's be clear, that's not a bad number for Malfurion, right?
No, it's not, for sure.
And you did have, for the blue team, you had twice as many deaths, so that impacts those numbers too, because you're spending some time not out on the field of battle. The stat sheet is pretty even, Ronan.
Well, and that's because if you notice, almost every one of those engagements was probably about 100 HP per hero away from going the opposite direction. And it was a razor's edge that we had FF and the Pancakes walking the entire time. And it was like watching a tightrope walker in the circus. They were dancing on it and delivering.
It's fantastically well played. While we were watching that, I have some thank yous to give out again to Matt Gazar for the gifted subs. We appreciate it very much. Red Hot, thank you for the follow. Zeiss guy, that's how I'm saying it. Thank you for the prime sub. If you want to phonetically put it out there for me, I'm going to go with Zeiss guy.
I still like Ziggsy.
Ziggsy I like better, and I keep forgetting it. Ziggsy is good. Dane, thank you so much for the raid, and thank you for the sub. I appreciate you, brother. I'm sorry that I don't announce this stuff at the time when we're in a match, guys. But listen, that was... He says he's not going to tell us how to pronounce it. He likes me forgetting every time. It's like me with Los Popochas.
Yeah, I don't think any of us will forget that pronunciation anytime soon.
Listen, okay, so let's talk for a second. Good game, well played to both teams. Congratulations to the Pancakes. Let's start with the Baddest Dudes and say that second game, I think, was closer than the stats sheet shows. They played their guts out. There was nothing about that fairly quick loss on the first map. Nothing there. Let's call it a decisive loss. There wasn't an ounce of quit in them. They did what they wanted to do and just came up short, I would say, like a number of times. I think you said the same thing. They were just, again, sort of special acknowledgement to Yrel, but she isn't doing that without people around her, right? Raynor's in there poking, Malfurion's desperately healing, KT's doing damage wherever he can, Joe's mixing it up. Very well done.
And the unsung heroes of fights like that really are the folks that are sticking back, trying to defend the back line. And Raynor is fantastic at doing that because there's a reason that Kael'thas was actually able to put out as much damage as he was. And that's because there was some amazing healing and some amazing peels going into that as well.
And the Pancakes. So sometimes you end up talking. Sometimes it's a habit I find. I end up talking a little bit more about the other team because the Pancakes, it's like, it's reminds me of the German soccer team. They just absolutely precision, right? It's just a
Yes.
machine. They're where they are supposed to be, with who is supposed to be there, when they are supposed to be there, every single time. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what it looked like. They had their macro on lockdown. They knew what they were going for. They were at the camps on time every time. They were rotating together and they were getting into those engagements, and everybody knew what they were supposed to be doing in them. It was like clockwork.
And you want to talk high skill cap? Kira, Maiev, and Whitemane in Div E,
Yes.
Ronan.
And
Kira,
some
Maiev,
stellar
and Whitemane.
performances on all three, but
On all three.
especially that white mane. Oh man, that white mane's healing. It's enough to really make a guy wish that he could play with a white mane like that.
And you had Tassadar in particular. I remember that absolute shotgun blast to the face in that upper right altar phase. Leoric was absolutely on point. So Jaeger on the Leoric was just always where they needed him.
Phenomenal in tombs.
And again, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. I think when the Tomb might have looked like a miss, I don't think it was. I think he put that thing exactly where he meant to.
That's the fun thing about Entomb, right? You throw it in the direction that you need something to happen, and more often than not, as long as your aim is good, it's going to do something good for you anyway.
Absolutely. So I think with that, Ronan, we're gonna wrap it up here. Again, GG, well played to both teams. Congratulations to the Pancakes. Special message to Jaeger is that why don't we just talk it out? I don't think there's any reason we need to fight. We can just have a match next season. We don't need any violence. No, appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Be kind to each other, folks. Peace.